Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 5 of the Reactor Community Spotlight series. My name is Ravneet, and I'm the program manager at Reactor London. Please check in on to the event to receive the event resources. The check-in link is on the screen, which is aka.ms/reactor check-in, or you can scan the QR code, which will take you straight to the check-in page. Before we begin, please take a moment to read Microsoft's Code of Conduct. We're all here to learn, so please be respectful of mindful of each other's views and understanding of differences. So what is Reactor Community Spotlight? The Reactor Community Spotlight is designed to meet, greet, and explore community leaders from Europe and the Middle East. Each week, we go live from a different reactor, bringing together London, Stockholm, Tel Aviv, and Abu Dhabi. And today, we're streaming in from London. So grab a coffee and enjoy the show. Today, I am thrilled to be joined by Salma Alamnela, who is Microsoft's Most Valued Professional, so MVP, for developer technologies, Twitch partner, live coding streamer, speaker, tech content creator, and relentless advocate for building a truly accessible web. She's also a founder of Unbreak.tech and WomanWhoStream.tech, and her projects revolve around activism for social change and equality in the technology industry. Her expertise is the Jamstack and related front-end web technologies. She's also recently named the winner of the Jamstack Conference 2021 Community Creator Award. Well, congratulations, Salma.
Thank you very much.
And welcome. Wow, that was a big introduction. And I mean, tell us about your journey in your own words. Obviously, that was just provided to me, but I want to hear it from you, Salma.
So thanks for having me, first of all. Good morning. I don't normally do stuff this early, so forgive me if I appear sluggish and tired, but I can tell you about my journey into tech. It's quite a weird one. It's quite a windy one, and I think it proves that you don't have to do what you think you're going to do when you grow up, and everything can work out in the end. So my first experience with tech was when I was 6 years old. And I was copying code from a manual on my Commodore 64 into the terminal. And I had no idea what I was doing, but it was fascinating and I loved it. Now, I was growing up in the 90s in a very rural area. And back then, the internet wasn't what it was like today. And there were no resources to learn tech. There was no one around me who did tech. And so my vocation of choice when I was younger was music. So I did all the music stuff. I played instruments. I played in orchestras. I did a music degree. And I wanted to be a film composer in my early 20s. And that was near impossible. I think it's kind of, you have to know who you know and you have to get into those communities. And back then, the internet didn't facilitate that kind of stuff then. Anyway, I had a brief career as a freelance musician, and I was in a band, and I taught freelance music to talented children at Leeds College of Music, and I taught the flute privately as well. And that was all pretty good. Then I started, Jack Black from the School of Rock. I did that for a while. I taught kids how to play in rock bands as well. And then that was pretty difficult income-wise. It was very unpredictable. So I decided to do a teaching qualification. And I ended up for a few years teaching music to 11 to 18-year-olds in schools. And then at that time, I was also a musical comedian. So still, by the time I'm in my coming up to late 20s, no tech really, apart from the fact that throughout my 20s, I had a lot of musician friends, and I would build them websites for their bands and their albums. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was building it with drag and drop image-based website software. And so I wanted to do this stuff, but I didn't know I could actually do it as a career. And then so I quit teaching and I ended up working in a call center for minimum wage, rite of passage, potentially. I don't know. I was having a bit of a career crisis. And then I ended up working at a small magazine startup as a graphic designer and salesperson. And there was one IT guy who worked there. He did everything, DevOps, back end, front end. He built the CMS as well. And I expressed an interest in what he was doing. And he took me under his wing for 6 months and gave me like a whistle-stop tour of full stack development. And from then on, I went on to get a couple more front-end development jobs. And then I worked as a tech lead for maybe 6 years, specializing in front-end and product development. And then, which we'll talk about in a minute, how the pandemic affected my career. Now I've moved into developer relations and developer advocacy and community stuff.
Wow, Salma, what a journey. You said in the middle you were a musical comedian. What does that mean exactly?
You know, like Bill Bailey and Tim Minchin, you sing songs that are funny. So the jokes are in the songs, and it was a lot of fun. We toured the country. We played in London. We did stuff. But my comedy partner is still also a teacher, and so there was kind of a bit of a disconnect between putting all this stuff online and doing all this stuff and having to be a very professional role model to children at the time. So we retired, and all our videos are now private. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, obviously, and obviously you don't continue doing like
not
teaching
right now.
music. Yeah, obviously, I'm sure you probably don't have time. So are you in touch with that IT person still? Who? Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. I went to his wedding a couple of years ago before the pandemic, and we still talk. We still keep each other updated. And I tell him that I still talk about him all the time, and I attribute where I am now to what he invested in me and how he mentored me. And I wouldn't be here without him, I don't think.
Yeah. That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So tell us more, what have you been doing in the pandemic? How has pandemic like been for you? I mean, obviously now that we're in the second year, so on and off lockdown, now a new variant. How has it affected you, your job, your anything basically?
I feel very privileged to say that I got really lucky in the pandemic and was able to change my life and focus really on myself more. I started streaming on Twitch in the pandemic because I found that the work I was doing as a tech lead, the more you do at leadership level in tech, the less code you do. And I started tech because I wanted to build stuff and write code. And so I discovered very serendipitously that people streamed code on Twitch and building stuff and writing applications. And I kind of got into this community and I thought, hey, I can do this. And actually, it'd be really good for me because I will be able to learn stuff. I can use my comedy performance skills and my teaching skills through this medium as well. And let's just have some fun. So I started streaming on Twitch and I ended up building a community around it, a really, really diverse and welcoming and warm community that mentor new developers, that bring people in, and there's lifelong friends that have been made in this community, and it's pretty amazing to see. And through this as well, I've embraced the world of open source. I used to think that I remember making my first project open source, and I was spending ages and ages choosing the license because I didn't want people to steal my great idea, but that's not what open source is about. And I've learned open source is about bringing communities together, helping people learn, elevating people and what they can do, and just giving people an opportunity to be part of something. And so this whole thing that started at the beginning of the pandemic, the Twitch streaming, the community, the open source, it enabled me to shift careers from being a tech lead into developer advocacy. I didn't ever think I would be happy working remotely full time before the pandemic. Turns out I love it. And I feel like I've opened up my world. I've moved from very kind of regional closed tech world in Manchester in the UK to now I'm in this global tech community. And it feels quite bittersweet to say how how I've been able to evolve my career and open up my world in the pandemic. But again, there are two sides to this whole thing. Everyone's moved online more. And actually, that's whilst we feel like we've been trapped and locked inside, we've actually been forced to open up our communities and open up our doors to other things on the internet. And I think that's been one of the most bittersweet things that's come out of the pandemic, because it's changed my life, and I'm sure it's changed other people's lives. And I think this is the way forward now, and everyone's pretty much more connected, even though we're looking at screens all day. I think I hate to say it, but I've been really lucky, and I've been able to evolve what I do in tech.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, every like internet and all these social media channels have technically brought all of us together. And now there's so much resource, there's so much access. People can access anything and learn anything. Now they don't really have to go to the university. I don't know if that's a good thing when the pandemic finally is over and we do get to go out and meet other people. How will that affect children with their social skills? But there's obviously been pros and cons, definitely. But I think pros wise, the social media community has definitely brought everybody together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you've been a teacher, you've taught music. So, what's the best career advice would you give to someone starting out in the tech industry?
Be patient, and I guess embrace the journey. And, there are also so many different types of jobs and types of roles in tech. You don't just need to be a developer. You don't just need to do DevOps. You don't just need to pigeonhole yourself into this one thing. And so, because there are so many different roles, it's always good to kind of experiment and don't pigeonhole yourself into one thing. And I guess the biggest thing I would recommend, because I've seen it happen and experienced it firsthand, is find a community that you feel safe in. Find a group of people who feel the same as you do about things, and you can get excited about things with. And maybe that might be through open source, or it might be through a Twitch stream, or it might be through some educational courses that you're taking at the same time as other people. The more you can talk about tech with other people who are in the same position as you, number one, and who are a bit more experienced, so you can get some mentorship and some guidance and advice, I just think that's invaluable. Talk to people. I used to hate networking. I remember when I first started working in tech, and everyone was talking about going to meetups and, going to see talks and meeting people. And I didn't see the value in it at that point, but now I do. Because it's changed my life to have these people that are not necessarily part of my job, who don't work with me, but to have people outside of that who I can connect with and share things with and be friends with. But because we're on the same wavelength, we know the same vocabulary, we talk in the same way. But also, additionally to that, because we're all online, you can find so many different types of people in these communities as well, from all over the world. I never thought I would have friends all over the world like I do. And funny story, I was coming back from Berlin in November. I got stranded in Switzerland. I had a friend in Switzerland who I could hang out with for a few hours, The most important thing is you find somewhere that makes you feel safe. And because when you do feel safe and you're not in survival mode, you feel safe to ask questions and receive feedback and ask for feedback. And so it might not happen overnight, but keep your eyes and ears open for places that are welcoming people in to talk about and learn about tech.
Yeah, it's community over like competition. Way to
Absolutely.
go, actually. Definitely. Yeah. So you talk a lot about communities. Are there any particular communities you're involved in, you're passionate about? Tell us more about that.
Well, I would be remiss if I didn't put number one on the list as the Claw community, which is the community that came out of my Twitch stream. And I've also got a Twitch team because I'm Twitch partner. So I've got a lot of tech streamers who are part of that team who we elevate each other, we promote each other, we share each other's streams, and we raid each other on Twitch. And everyone is just so supportive and warm and amazing. And I make sure that the people on the team reflect the values of the community, where everyone is welcome and no one who is saying people are not welcome are welcome, if you know what I mean. So I've got the Claw community, and you can find out more about the Claw community at theclaw.team as well. And the Jamstack community, right, is where my heart is, because I was the Jamstack Community Creator of the Year, and I build project after project on the Jamstack. I love the Jamstack for how warm the community is, for how innovative the community is, and for how the Jamstack is about empowering front-end developers to build full-stack applications and to learn things as they do it. And they're always like the Jamstack is always making things easy for people. And they're bringing out something else that means that front-end developers don't have to worry about something. And I do a lot of collaborations on Twitch streams and other things with other people who are working in the Jamstack space as well. And everyone is super, super nice. And also the JavaScript community. I've been doing quite a few talks this year and some podcasts with the JavaScript community as well. I mean, I guess it's kind of it kind of falls in the Jamstack, but there's other stuff that's going on in JavaScript that's not necessarily in the Jamstack. And I find a lot of these people on Twitter. I used to be really scared of like reaching out to people, but I've forged some really wonderful relationships by just saying hi to people and getting engaged in the conversation and letting things develop over time. And so those are the ones: Jamstack, JavaScript, and the Claw is where it's at.
So, Salma, how did you come out of that fear of like connecting with people? What did you just like one day you were like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know what, I'm gonna take this fear out and I'm gonna reach out to this person and take advice? How should one really like get that fear out of them?
I think it was because people started reaching out to me.
Okay.
And I started to be able to give them advice and connect them with other people and facilitate other relationships and help people with their careers. And so I thought, well, if I can do that for someone and I can give back like that, then and I feel great about doing that, then maybe other people can feel great about doing that for me. I don't know. I think it happened. It didn't happen overnight. I think it was an organic thing. I used to be very, very scared of social media because how it can be a pretty dark place sometimes. And I think I had to learn how to do the right things on social media that weren't going to put me at risk. For example, it sounds really silly, but like I used to be very, very afraid. I saw a lot of people being attacked on social media, so I'd want to stay away from it all the time. And that included staying away from individual relationships. But I think it's a skill. I think being online, being in public, learning in public, and being that community leader kind of figure is a skill to learn. It's very different from being a tech lead in an office pre-pandemic. And so I think I just had to iterate on what I was doing, and the reaching out to people and forging those relationships came as a byproduct of the iteration as I found my way online, I think.
Amazing. I think one can definitely relate to this because anyone starting anything new goes about this and they can feel that when they're starting out. So yeah, very helpful. So are there any podcasts or good books you're reading or listening to? Anything you can probably recommend everybody?
Now, some of this isn't tech related. I'm currently learning German, and I discovered a series of podcasts recently called News in Slow German. And they speak really slowly. And I can get the odd word and the odd context here and there. But I think as I continue, I've only been learning it for 2 months, but as I continue, I think something like that is going to be really, really helpful. And they do them in other languages as well. I think there's French and Spanish as well. So it's really, really nice idea to open up language learning to people, I think. I do have some tech podcasts actually to talk about, but first, on the book front, I actually am a big fan of post-apocalyptic dystopian fiction. And I've recently been reading Kings of a Dead World, which recently came out from Jamie Mollard. I also love books such as Brave New World and Station 11 and all that kind of dark, weird stuff. A great book that I would always recommend to people in tech is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. And I think it's a really good book on leadership and product development, but also wider community stuff. Like everything that you do, it shouldn't be about how you do it or the what you do, it's why you do it. And that's going to have the biggest impact, I think. And regarding tech podcasts, I'm really enjoying listening to the changelog.com JS Party podcast. And actually, I was on that show last week that's being released today. And also there's some really great stuff on the GitHub README podcasts and the README project. And I recorded a GitHub README podcast last month, and it's coming out today as well. I didn't want to just meanly self-promote that, but actually there's some really, really amazing people elevated on the GitHub README podcasts. A lot of diverse people, a lot of people in open source, and I think there's a great set of people there to go and follow and engage with and see what they're up to.
Awesome. I think bundle of knowledge right there. Obviously, Salma, you have had such an amazing journey and you're always open to learn. What would be the one advice you give to maybe your younger self?
Be patient and embrace the journey, I think. I mean, who would have thought I was 6 years old, typing on a Commodore 64, and I never even realized what could have come out of that. And so you know how when you're a child and someone asks you, what do you want to do when you grow up? And you say one thing, oh, I want to be an astronaut or a doctor or this or that and the other. But actually, you can be as many things as you want. You can be a myriad things. You can have different careers. You can try different things. You can do something for 1 year and then something else for another year. And so I think we need to start asking children, not what do they want to be when they grow up, but like, what might you want to try when you grow up? What might you want to explore? What skills might you want to learn? How might you want to grow? And what might you want to embrace? I think we need to start asking might questions to children and to encourage them that they can be whatever they want to be and find whatever they want to find if you find that community around it.
Awesome. I think that's definitely like a different angle to the parenting, what it used to be when our parents used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? To something, what might you want to try? Amazing. That's really awesome. So any upcoming events you want to talk about or anything you're particularly planning on in the near future, in December, early 2022? Obviously we're almost there. I know that you will potentially be speaking, so we are organizing a series on open source, and you might potentially be speaking in February on that. But is there anything else you are working on, anything in the pipeline coming?
Well, I'm starting to wind down for the holidays because I'm also moving house. So it's a little stressful. But one thing that is going to be really, really fun is that I'm working on being involved in the Twitch Developer Day next Thursday, where there will be some events around some of the new API functionality that Twitch has released. And I'll be doing a demo and getting involved with that. So that's really exciting. I've got those 2 podcast launches today, if you want to look out for those. And I'm just going to be continuing to build stuff, learn things, and love what I do on the Jamstack. I stream regularly on Twitch twice a week as well, and do a lot of other stuff. And you can come and have a look at the Claw, which has some events going on as well with other streams. And we're also planning some tech events, some community events in the Discord community for the new year as well. And yeah, just look out for what I do. Come and find me on Twitter to keep abreast of all the announcements. And I just look forward to 2022. If 2021 has been anything to go by, 2022 is going to be pretty good.
Yeah, so your Twitch handle, Salma, is White Panther.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah, right there. So we'll just put that up on the comments. Why? So is there a reason you have the name White Panther?
It was a joke that went too far. A few years ago, I was doing some activism on the tech end with Extinction Rebellion. And I decided that we all needed code names that were a color and an animal and a team name. Who knows why? I signed up to Twitch with this username because I wanted to watch a friend of mine's charity stream. I didn't even know what Twitch was at the time. I signed back into Twitch and started watching tech streams with this username, and then I went live with this username, and I couldn't really change it. It's turned out to be a good thing because I've got the Panther branding. I've got like a whole thing around the Panther thing. It's better than like Salma Codes, I think, or something. You know, it's a thing, and also it means it's tech agnostic, isn't it? So I could do anything under White Panther. I could try anything and explore anything as White Panther. So it's worked out fine. Started as a joke, went too far, but it's good.
Yeah, amazing. Salma, it has been amazing. I mean, learning about your journey, everything. I think it's mind-blowing because coming like from a background where you were a music teacher, then like a comedian, then obviously learning all about like coding and everything. It's just absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for doing the show with us. It has been absolutely amazing to have you. I'm just going to quickly put up a couple of our links over here. So obviously, if you want to connect with Salma, the link, the Twitter handle is in the chats. It's called White Panther. You can know about everything she's working on, all the upcoming podcasts, basically everything, and about the Twitch. You are going to be working alongside Twitch. So anything and everything can be found on Salma's Twitter, which is called White Panther. Also, we'll have another episode next week with another of our team members. You can find that on our meetup. You can go onto the Microsoft Reactor website and subscribe to all our events there. All our channels are listed on the screen. You can join us on Meetup, follow us on Twitter, YouTube, or you can sign up to our email address to receive information on all the upcoming events. But thank you very much, Salma. It has been absolute pleasure. And we hope to see you in February when we do an amazing series on open source. And yeah, take care. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And have an amazing day. Thanks everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye now.